Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Psychic Medium Natasha, and if you're new, welcome. I post weekly videos about spirituality, eclectic witchcraft, Reiki, shamanism, and just a whole lot of things within that realm. If that interests you, then feel free to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of that weekly free content. But in today's video, I want to talk specifically about providing you guys a new skill. A skill that you guys can incorporate into your own practice that's specifically geared towards having the awareness of your own personal energy. And what do I mean by that? I mean specifically about like your chakras, your aura, you understanding that so you guys can move forward for any healing work necessary for that, any shadow work, any ascension journey, whatever. Like, I want you guys to at least have the awareness of your energy so you guys can start to do the work necessary to fix or balance that, however that may be for you. And that means I'm going to be talking about how do you use pendulums specifically for chakra work. And whether you are a beginner, an intermediate practitioner, or you've been a spiritual practitioner for a while, you can learn this skill. And like I said, awareness is the first step necessary for the work, for that. Whether you're doing it yourself or you're having a mentor or a Reiki practitioner help you, whatever, awareness is important. And I think it should be everyone's agenda to at least understand their energy, let alone work for it. That's your personal choice. But if you're interested in learning how to do this for yourself, then feel free to keep watching. And any material that I am speaking to you guys in this video, I will do my best to provide notes for this typed out in the description box of this video. You guys can use this material for your own personal grimoires or your own personal spiritual journals. I ask that you simply just share this information so more people can just have this knowledge and this skill to be able to do this for themselves. So that's what I ask for you guys to do. But let's get into the content of how can we do this work for ourselves, okay? So we're going to get into it. Pendulums and chakra work. First of all, what is a pendulum? Okay, so I do have some examples. I'm wearing one around my neck, and I have two clear quartz ones as well. I just prefer clear quartz as a personal preference. Pendulums can simply be made out of any material. There's in the sense of what we are learning them for, pendulums is simply a great tool for diagnosis when you're using it for the sense of your own chakra work. I find that if you are looking into buying your own pendulum, if that's easier for you, they really are everywhere these days. But I prefer that if you are buying it yourself, that you stick with the material of like either crystal or gemstone or metal or wood. And the only reason I suggest these three is because I have found that those material has the best, either like they're conductive or they're just pick up on, like they just pick up, or they're more sensitive to feeling the vibrations and the frequencies of energy in a general sense, whether that means conductivity or just being sensitive or whatever. I just find that, again, crystal, metal, or wood is best. Now, you can find whatever materials within that realm, fits for you. Like if you prefer crystal, it doesn't have to be clear quartz. If you prefer a wood, it doesn't have to be a specific wood. If you do prefer a metal pendulums, it doesn't have to be a specific metal. It's just, I just find that those materials are best, but always pick what resonates with you. If I don't use clear quartz, I actually do resonate with like copper, I found, but I just don't own one personally. But feel free to experiment. Go to a local metaphysical shop if you're lucky enough and maybe feel, from a distance what is calling out to you or what you feel drawn to. But yes, for what we are learning pendulums to be for, they are a great tool for diagnosis. And how do they do that? Or, how do they work for this practice? Pendulums, they simply, they're guided by what they pick up. If you're doing it like there's many ways you can use a pendulum, but I'm only going to be speaking about using it for the practice that we're talking about. Now, for what we're talking about, the pendulum itself is going to pick up on the energy that it's like hovering over. So ideally, you're going to want to place this pendulum over an energy field, whether it's an aura of an object or a specific chakra point on a person or a place or an object. I say that the 7 major chakra points is best to at least start off with, you know, because you can branch off from there. You can start off with the 7 major chakra points, maybe branch off to the minor chakra points, and then maybe get into prime meridians. That's more advanced, you know, energy work and stuff like that, but you can definitely move into that. I think for the purposes of learning about this, I'm going to speak more about the 7 major chakra points for this practice, okay? So, yeah, so basically, for example, there is a minor chakra point in my palm, and I'm going to use it for this demonstration. So, I did cleanse this beforehand, but an example of how you would do that is you can simply take an incense stick and use a smoke cleanse. You can go counterclockwise as a way of banishing negative, lower vibrational energies. But I've already cleansed it beforehand. I'm just giving you guys, you know, a simple explanation of that. Okay, so when you place the pendulum over a place, you want to try your best not to move it by your own movements. You want the energy to guide the crystal the way it's moving. So as you can see by the movement, I'm not physically moving my hand. The crystal is moving according to the energy vortex of my chakra point that is in the sole of my hand. Now this is a minor chakra point. My palms were opened during my Reiki attunement, so I do know my palms are open, and they're moving pretty good. I can see energy, but if you are working up to that, or you want to see energy physically, the pendulum is a great tool for that, because it's a physical way to also see and also feel and also diagnose what that specific spot of energy or that chakra point or whatever it's hovering over. You're going to see that current status of that specific energy. So I do want to talk about specifically about the movements, so you guys can tell what each of those mean. And like I said, all of what I'm speaking of will also be in the description box below. But a little bit of maintenance before I get into that is for your pendulum. If you're using it on a daily basis, I do recommend cleansing it regularly. You know, like the more you use it, then the more you want to have maintenance for that. Now, depending on the material you picked, will also determine the best sense of cleansing it, because obviously some materials have more sensitivities to, you know, other things. Like you may not be able to, you know, to cleanse your pendulum with water if it's made out of a certain metal, you know, so just be aware of that. That's why a lot of people prefer to use smoke cleanse for their pendulum cleansings, but it's truly about preference. Once I cleanse my pendulum, I also like to place it either on a Himalayan salt candle holder, like to place on top or on the inside, or I'll place my pendulum on some selenite stick, and I'll simply lay it like that to charge overnight, either on this or the pink Himalayan salt holder for the candle. Okay, so let's get into the movements for the pendulum. And I have consecrated my pendulum. That's my preference depending on my practice. It's, you know, it's not required, but I just find that when I have a tool dedicated specifically for specifically for something in my practice, I always consecrate it. So okay, let's talk about the pendulum movements. So when you finally put it over a spot, what does it mean? So if it moves clockwise, you know, that means that that particular chakra is open. It's moving freely, which is good. And also, bigger movements, the more energy is associated with, the more intense it is. Now, let's say it's moving horizontal, like side to side. What does that mean? Well, this could mean it's some form of emotional block. Like there's an emotional charge to this energy. Let's say it's moving vertical, up and down, forward and back. What does that mean? This could be a physical block. This could be like a physical injury, muscle strain, like or like a specific diet thing, or a specific stagnant energy that has manifested physically. It's a physical block. Like those are my examples of that. Now, what if it's like an uneven movement, like it's just all over the place or something like that? I do get that sometimes in some people, especially if they have like layered, trauma, things of that nature. That is usually as like an indication of like, oh, it's a combination of a block. It usually means that there's, whenever I see that happening, that's my like red flag of, okay, this is a layered situation. More work is needed in this particular spot. I may need to go deeper for this. You know what I'm saying? Now, what does it mean if the pendulum has no movement, or it's very, very slow, like it's barely moving, and you're like, what the hell? What does that mean? So if your pendulum is barely moving over the spot, then that means there is a block there. There is a blockage. There is stagnance. The energy's not free flowing. Okay, let's say that your pendulum is moving counterclockwise. It's moving the opposite way. So counterclockwise. That means that the chakra is open, but it's moving backwards, which kind of acts as like a vacuum. I have seen that in some sexual trauma survivors, where if they're unhealed yet, their sacral chakra in particular will be more so drawing energy into them, even if it's toxic energy, for the sense of trying to replenish themselves. That's my example of this, is that if that chakra is open, but it's moving backwards, it can act as a vortex. And some people do this subconsciously as a way, again, to like replenish themselves, even if it's not healthy. Okay. And let's say your pendulum is moving clockwise, but it's like really, really, really fast, and it's really intense. This, like I said, it means that the chakra is very, very intense. It means that it's processing too much energy. And this is not good because, it particularly means it's overactive, which is also an imbalance too. You don't want your chakra to be underactive. You don't want it to be blocked, but you don't want it to be overactive. You want it to be balanced. That is ideal. And eventually, if your chakra is left to be overactive, it's going to eventually lead to burnout. Regardless of whatever chakra it is. So, if it's working overtime, it's just gonna eventually, not if, it's a matter of when it's going to go into burnout. Now, in that same principle, if your pendulum is moving clockwise, like it's open, but it's very, very, very slow, but it's not blocked, there's a difference. That usually means that it's open, the chakra itself is open, but it's underactive, it's insufficient with its own chi. The energy is not flowing as well. There's the resistance, okay? And then again, if you see your pendulum moving very sporadically and uneven, it's going crazy, that's the imbalance. There's congestion there, there's a partial blockage, it may be that layered situation. So those are the particular movements and the meanings behind that for pendulums and chakra work. And with those movements, you can determine if your chakra points are underactive, blocked, or overactive, under, or blocked, and the ideal is you want it to be balanced. Now, Where you go from there is up to you. When I do this, you know, this was particularly helpful for me before I could see auras. I mean, I can personally see auras now, but this is great. You know, it's a physical way to see energy, and it's also a great way to show others the state of their energy as well, like if I'm explaining to someone. So I find that it's best to do this when, you know, if you have a sheet of paper, you can draw like a little gingerbread man, like stick figure or whatever, you know, and then you can write down the chakra points of root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown, you know, and then you can write down, oh, root, oh, this is underactive, you know, or under energy, and then sacral, oh, this is overactive, and then maybe your solar plexus, oh, this is blocked, or this is swinging crazy, so this may be a layered situation. And then, you know, your heart chakra, maybe it is blocked, you know, it's not moving very well, or it's moving slowly, so maybe underactive. Maybe your throat chakra is very open and it's actually moving in a very even clockwise motion, so perhaps it is balanced. Third eye, maybe there is a blockage there, or maybe it's counterclockwise where it's open, but it's maybe moving backwards. It's pulling more energy towards them, you know. And then the crown, you know, is it open? Is it blocked? You know, so experiment with ways that you find this to be easiest for you. You may find that you may want to lay down for these exercises because, you know, obviously when you sit up, it may be harder to get to like certain chakras, you know, than if you're, so, you know, so experiment with positioning and material of pendulums. But after you have your diagram or these notes of your chakras, you know, then you want to find the root, you know, like, okay, how can I balance or strengthen or act, you know, okay. If you find that your chakra point from this exercise is underactive or blocked, you want to focus on activating that chakra point and perhaps trying to clear negative energy or at least lower vibrations from that particular chakra. So if it's underactive or blocked for this exercise, focus on clearing your energy and trying to activate that chakra. If you understand that from this exercise, your energy is overactive from this exercise, then focusing on trying to balance that chakra, you know, like trying to calm it down or trying to, you know, relieve, things of that nature. And then if it's already balanced, then you're fine. You know that that's an area that you are constantly engaging with. This is a great skill for you to understand your particular energy. So I will give some information in the description box as to what it means for certain chakras to be underactive and overactive. I find that, you know, you understand what it means if it's blocked. It means it's blocked. That chakra is blocked specifically by what it's blocked for. So I will provide some brief chakra information about what that chakra is, like what it deals with, what it's blocked by, and what does it mean if it's underactive or overactive, you know, under energy or over energy. And I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys practice this and you like this, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Blessed be.